This is me acting cool and failing miserably.
This is me also trying to act cool and failing miserably.
Bonjour, my freaky darlings. You join me upstairs late at night in my bedroom again. I've tried to make some sort of effort with this jacket, but I've got a t-shirt underneath. But I'm a parent, so I just don't care. So today I wanted to talk about basically the main theme of Do You Ever See? So Do You Ever See is my latest book that I've written in a nutshell. So what I'm going to do, without giving any spoilers whatsoever, is talk about the theme of Do You Ever See, its main theme, and also how it kind of communicates to it in the book. So without giving any spoilers, just basically reading a little bit from the blurb, Do You Ever See is basically about a woman called Casey Olsen, a young woman called Casey Olsen. Her father is a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. He owns a lot of money, so she basically seeing all the poverty and famine and death across the world that is completely unnecessary, and that can be solved just like that by the millions upon trillions of dollars or money or whatever that certain greedy people like to keep for themselves. She steals pretty much all of her dad's money and gives it to people that actually need it and saves their lives. So this act attracts the attention of Moorman-Fuzi, which is a high-tech organization that does the exact same thing. They will target you if you have more than $2 million and steal all your assets, leaving you with $2 million, and the rest of it goes to people that are dying from either famine, poverty, or very simple illnesses that could be solved by very cheap medicine. So obviously, yes, you can guess the main theme of Do You Ever See is the greed of people that just hoard money, the billionaires and trillionaires and millionaires that just have money for the sake of it, really. Do not get me wrong, if you are a millionaire and you have worked for that money, or even if you've inherited that money, you go ahead, crack on and enjoy it. It will be a lovely, probably happy life, or at least a comfortable one. But you, in my opinion, do not need more than $2 million to live a comfortable, full life. This is why I would get assassinated if I went into any sort of political power straight away. Because if I was in any sort of power, anybody that has over $2 million worth of money will have all that money taken away, bar the $2 million, you can keep that. And all that money will go to people to save their lives. So if you want to talk about developing and developed countries, whatever, I really don't like those terms, but whatever. We have companies over here that own billions that do not need it. Whereas if you want to take the most extreme example, there are people, you see it all the time in charity appeals and cases, that are literally holding their children in developing countries that are dying from something so curable, such as dysentery, malnutrition. There are babies that are literally starving. If I couldn't watch the charity appeals before when I wasn't a parent, I certainly can't watch them now. You might have sensed a kind of quite a passion in my tone of voice at the moment. It's because it does quite make me very angry, in fact, because I do not see why anybody needs more than $2 million to live a full life. You can give that money away. You do not need a Lamborghini or Ferrari or top-of-the-range Mercedes or Tesla or whatever the heck the most popular expensive car is. I don't even know because I don't even care. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need gold or platinum plated watches. You don't need platinum plated mobile phones. You don't need mansions. You don't need this or that or the other when somebody else across the world is losing their child or is dying themselves or is watching the person that they love more than anything else in the world die. I don't know how you actually are capable of breathing. this sounds really antagonistic, so apologies if it's coming off that way, but I don't believe that trillionaires and billionaires and multimillionaires are bad people. I just think they do a horrible action, which the action is greed. They hoard money to themselves when they could be helping so many people. And what is kind of even more of a joke is that members of the public of developed countries, let's just like say, for example, England or USA, Australia, Scandinavian countries, well, quite a lot of European countries, and so on, the general public have things like charity appeals so that the general public give to charities that go and do obviously charity work in developed countries to save lives. I don't see why it takes the general public of developed countries that are themselves struggling by goodness knows how many people visiting food banks because they can't afford food for their own children, why it takes for them to pull loads of money together when it could be solved like that by a bloomin' trillionaire or billionaire or whatever. If I take an example like you see, I don't know, appeals like Children in Need or Comic Relief, where they total it up and they're like, oh, we've raised such and such million, well done everybody, that's a fantastic effort. It is, and you know, good on every one of us that actually does give to that, and you know, and the money goes in the right place. That's fantastic. But if you're a billionaire, you could top that immediately, and you don't, and that's sick. Sorry, I know this is a really hard-hitting, and it might even be a difficult to watch video, but I don't, I can't, but this is my opinion. You can either share it or completely disagree with it. I don't mind. I think it's always healthy to discuss, you know, other people's opinions and disagree with them. That's great. But what, what on earth possesses you to think that it's actually okay and acceptable morally to own so much money whilst people literally die across the world? I just don't understand, and neither will I ever understand. So that passion is kind of why I've written this book, because it's just disgusting, really. I don't really know what else to say other than how the heck did we get to this? Obviously, at the crux of it, every single human being is equal. I know that sounds quite airy-fairy or whatever, but it's true. We all end up in the exact same place. We all feel happiness and sadness and love and frustration and devotion and care, and so we've made this hierarchy, and that hierarchy is money, because we have the audacity to think that a hierarchy actually exists, and it doesn't. Deep down, honestly, it really, really doesn't. So yeah, if I had the fantastical powers of making literature real, I would exactly be doing what Casey does, doing what Morgan Vogel does. I would take all the money away from the multimillionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires and start saving lives. If only. If only I had that resource. But this is not just me. I think there's a lot of other people out there that would be the exact same. So yeah, guys, bit of a hard-hitting subject, but you know what? It needs to be addressed. This is how I address it. So please feel free to go and read Do You Ever See? It has got an exceedingly important theme in it, and it is full of action. Trust me, it's not just hard-hitting, talking all the time themes that make you feel like, oh, I'm having an existential crisis. It has both a lot of action and at the same time really does necessarily question the reality that we've made for ourselves in this society. So you can get this on paperback on Amazon. You can also get it in digital format on iBooks and Kobo and on Kindle as well. I'll put the links to all of that down below. But yeah, happy reading. Let's keep staying strong and kicking butt. I love you. Pardon me.